Welcome back to an episode of Ministry of Truth. I am your only host on this show. I'll always be your only host on this show. Just the way I have it set up. What can I say? How far behind is the... Okay, it's live. So the YouTube is going to be a little bit slower from my screen. So everybody, welcome back. I hope you are having a fine Thursday morning. It's Friday Eve for those of you that have a job. And hold on, give me 2 seconds. And we're going to talk a little bit about Bill Gates. But we're going to start off with a music video. Obviously, you know that. But after that, before I get into all the subjects we're going to talk about today, I'm going to talk about something that I take very personally. And one of the organizations we're going to talk about, I have been against since I can remember. Because they're scammers. A lot of their donations don't go towards the people it's supposed to help. And I'm going to go over a few organizations. You may want to look into them if you want, or if you ever get a chance to donate to them, I highly recommend you don't. But before we get started, ladies and gentlemen, let's get the song out of the way. And it's I don't know if it's really an old one, but I used to listen to this right before Spartan races, especially, the harder ones that are higher elevations. But, go get your coffee, go get your bagel, bananas, apples, oranges, healthy stuff, or an energy drink like yours truly. Be right back. Let's get some good motivational music. If you're not motivated, listen to the words, and that's a problem I have. I listen to the words of music, and that's how I like it or not, most of the time. But that's just a motivational song. Like it, love it, or not. So now we're going to talk about something, like I said, is near and dear to my heart. And they are called veterans organizations, charity organizations, right? So the first one we're going to talk about is Adopt a Platoon. I remember these guys along with Soldiers Angels when I was overseas in Iraq and Afghanistan, and people would sign up to these guys and we'd forget about it. So I don't know if they really helped out the soldiers while we were deployed, but that was what they wanted you to think. So we're going to look at Adopt a Platoon a little bit closer once I find it. All right. So their mission statement is Adopt a Platoon support efforts founded in 1988 in a nonprofit 501c3 dedicated to serving deployed United States servicemen and women that are not brave. Well, whatever. But that's their mission statement. They once received $8.3 million in grants and haven't reported that, which raises accountability issue. Approximately 95% of Adopt a Platoon's revenue is derived from fundraising efforts of a professional fundraising company. Adopt a Platoon is in dispute with a direct mail service concerning mailing contest. Adopt a Platoon reported Paycheck Protection Program loans proceeds of $88,000. That's weird. Why would a donation need a PPP? Okay. It's a little weird. I guess we can overlook that. No. All right. AMVETS. Let me make sure I don't get rid of the wrong one. Purple Heart, mission statement, PVA. Which one were we just on? Yeah, Adopt a Platoon. All right. Next one, AMVETS. Let me find it. All right. Their mission. AMVETS National Service Foundation provides veterans, their families, and survivors world-class counsel and representation beyond the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs. Your support enables us to provide these professional services at no charge to the veteran or family. I didn't know we had representation through legal offices. However, AMVETS is a 501c3 veteran charity operating nationally. Their mission is to provide support to veterans through service programs, as well as providing community and youth-oriented programs designed to promote unity and patriotism. All right, I like that mission statement. However, their overhead, i.e. expenses, are 70% of their total income, whereas they only spend roughly 28% on veterans programs and services. Huh. According to Charity Watch, the cost to raise each $100 in cash support is $62. So out of $100, they take 62. Seem pretty legit? Nah. This is all from CharityWatch.org. Next, we're going to go on to San Diego. Let me find it on my number two. Yep. Veterans Village of San Diego. A future where no one is left behind. Our mission: Veterans Village of San Diego supports Americans veterans and their families in overcoming homelessness, addiction, unemployment, barriers to health and mental health care, and related challenges. Sounds like a good noble cause, right? Staff and residents say Veterans Village has deteriorated over the past few years as leadership has prioritized filling beds over providing high-quality care, admitted to many clients during their severe staffing shortage, and failed to establish enough oversight to keep the campus drug-free. Oh, so it had a problem with drugs. Okay. In yet another report, when the investigation was ongoing, they fired their employees after speaking out, which is a clear violation of fundamental rules and the whistleblower policy. Another thing they also did has started allowing non-veterans, which many of people consider a shift in focus. Staff members say that they don't feel safe in the Vietnam Veterans Village campus. Oh, so you say they took away veterans and started adding everyone. Okay. Sounds like a noble cause. No? No. Of course not. PVA. Let me find it on my list. PVA is number 9, I believe. Yep. Mission statement. Paralyzed Veterans of America is a congressionally chartered veterans service organization founded in 1946, has developed a unique expertise on a wide variety of issues involving the special needs of armed members. Veterans of the armed forces who have experienced spinal cord injury. Hey! Oh, I'm not disabled though. I mean, paralyzed. Anyway, let's go to PVA. Paralyzed Veterans of America is a 501c3 tax-exempt nonprofit that is a steadfast advocate for paralyzed and disabled veterans and all people living with disabilities. Okay. According to Give.org report analysis, Paralyzed Veterans of America does not meet the following standards for a charity accountability, which are: Standard 1, oversight and operations and staff; Standard 6, board policy on effectiveness; Standard 7, board approval of written report on effectiveness. That's really weird. And Standard 16, annual reports. PVA spent $95 million on average, with $56 million paying for a direct mail campaign to get money and support the public education programs according to tax filings. According to Charity Watch analysis, almost 69% are into overhead expenses, and the 31% is for the rest of the programs. So if you donate it to PVA, they get almost 70% of your donations. Sounds like a pretty good noble cause. Okay, we'll go with that. I like it. Where'd it go? Purple Heart Foundation. The scars of military service for many veterans can often be felt beyond their tour of duty. Their physical and psychological wounds often carry over into transition from military to civilian life. As a result, many find it challenging to transition into civilian life and often experience difficulty paying bills. Oh, all right. So let's see how the Purple Heart Foundation rates. Charity Watch has given them an F rating, whereas Charity Navigator has given them a 0-star rating with 40%. They spend over 93% on overhead expenses and 7% on the actual program itself. Wow. Okay. So the veterans get 7% of every donation to the Purple Heart Foundation. It's a little weird. I guess that's a noble cause. Oh shit. Sorry, my guys. My bad. UAP. United American Patriots. Their website says that they generate public awareness, fund legal representation, and provide reintegration support for the nation's warriors to preserve the rights, defend our defenders, and enhance the communities. 63% of their donations go to overhead expenses, with just 37% going to the program itself. Wow, they got a 2-star rating at 70%. Sounds like a noble place. We're going to defend you guys, but we're going to require so much more money for it. Veterans Relief Network. Veterans Relief Network is a 501c3 veterans charity to assist U.S. military veterans and their families. All right, so if you donate to this veterans charity, 87% of your donation goes to overhead expenses, with just 13% going to the program itself. So if you donate $100, $82 don't go towards the veteran. The Better Business Bureau has also urged caution to donators when found out their fundraising consultant Precision Performance Marketing of Kirkwood, Missouri, has used sweepstakes mailings to help several national charities raise millions of dollars on behalf of causes ranging from childhood cancer to autism. The Disabled Veterans National Foundation, which is 5 on the list. DVNF is a veterans charity that provides critical needed support to disabled and at-risk veterans who leave the military wounded physically. Their overhead holy shit. Do not donate to this charity whatsoever. I will not support you if you decide to donate to this Disabled Veterans National Foundation, because of every $100 you send them, 96% of that goes to overhead expenses, with 4% actually going to the veterans charity. Interesting. Sounds like a lot of these veterans charities are a scam. And those of you that known me long enough, there is one veterans organization that I will always talk out against because they are a scam. They may say that they do good for the world, but from what I've seen in past experiences, they can suck a giant cock. And that would be the Wounded Warrior Project. This particular charity tops the list of what? Hold on. Wounded Warrior Project is the nation's leading veteran service organization dedicated to the total well-being of post 9/11 wounded, ill, or injured veterans and their families, from mental health and physical wellness to VA benefits assistance, peer support, and more. We're changing the way our nation cares for veterans and helping them thrive for a lifetime. All right. So let's hear a little bit about the Wounded Warrior Project they want you to forget. They spend on lavish retreats heavily. Overall, any veteran charity should reinvest the money into the cause. But for Wounded Warrior Project, it's totally different. The New York Times reported in 2014, after 10 years of rapid growth, the Wounded Warrior Project flew its roughly 500 employees, ladies and gentlemen, to Colorado Springs for an all-hands meeting at the 5-star Broadmoor Hotel. Wow, 500 employees. It has spent millions a year on travel, dinners, hotels, and conferences that often seem more lavish than appropriate. More than 4 dozen current and former employees said in interviews, according to the New York Times. This is the one that pissed me off the most. Their CEO and CEO were also fired for an inappropriate spending. Basically, they were taking the money from the Wounded Warrior Project and helping pay for themselves, their salaries, all that kind of nonsense. So if you ever decide you want to donate to a charity, not just veterans charities, I'm just saying these because these ones kind of popped up, I don't know why, and obviously when I see Wounded Warrior Project, I'm going to rant. But if you go to, I can't remember the website. If you're going to donate to a charity, Google them and see what their administrative fees are out of the money you donate. The lower the administrative fee, the better.
Bill Gates is...
Let's see. Yeti, good morning. Juniper, also good morning. And I believe I said good morning, Chantel, but I'll say it again. Whew! All right. Only $3? That's all right. I mean, I guess it's something. But anyway, we're going to switch off that to butter. Who loves butter? I know I do. Specifically, it comes in the brown tubes. The brown tubs. I can't remember. Crockers. Either way, churn style. Can't remember the name of it. I know it's the tan brown tub. Whatever. But everybody's favorite rich guy, not Elon Musk, and by favorite I mean absolutely we can't stand this motherfucker, he's making butter.
A warrior in the fight against climate change.
We need to get to zero emissions by 2050. There's a variety of things that generate greenhouse gases. Agricultural emissions are one of the most difficult to get rid of. Cows have a digestion system that emits methane. And methane is a very powerful greenhouse gas. And so you have people like Impossible or Beyond Meat, both of which I invested in.
And that hasn't exactly worked out.
Beyond Meat, once a leader in the sector, has seen its stock fall from a high of $239 in 2019 to hovering just above $3 today.
But fear not, Bill Gates is still on the case and back in the spotlight, now with fake butter.
That's great.
Or Beyond Butter? Whatever, it's not normal butter, and it's not that either. Anyway, just look.
The company is called Savor, and you better believe it. Their pioneering tech uses carbon and hydrogen to make the stick of butter you see on this plate.
It's really just our fat, some water, a little bit of lecithin as an emulsifier, and some natural flavor and color.
Fats are made up of carbon and hydrogen chains. The goal here? Replicate those chains without animals or plants. And they did it.
It does look like butter. It behaves a lot like butter. It has a nice plasticity to it.
but
It has
it's
a nice
not butter.
flexibility to it.
They say the interest in the process is building, including several Michelin-starred restaurants, with a main draw being flavor and sustainability.
Sustainability is why we are here.
It's all done releasing 0 greenhouse gases, using no farmland to feed cows, no palm oil, a significant contributor to deforestation.
This is really about how we feed our species and heal our planet at the same time.
Reducing butter. Imagine
Don't talk with food in your
slathering
mouth. That
that
shit's
butter
rude.
on a delicious 3D printed steak. That's right, Redefined Meat is here to uncow your meat.
Redefined Meat, a meat alternative startup out of Israel, makes their
course.
product using a highly technical process. The mix of soy and pea protein, chickpeas, beetroot, nutritional yeast, and coconut fat is
Who would have thought 3D printed meat? And of course, it had to be Israel.
formed into steak-like shapes using a 3D printer. Redefined Meat's product is designed to act, taste, and cut like flank steak.
This is the holy grail of alternative meat.
Okay, maybe you're not into 3D printed steak, but you will love lab-grown chicken.
The USDA
no.
has approved cell-cultivated meat to be sold to the public for the first time.
So that's where it all starts, just a few cells.
2 cultivated meat producers now getting the green light to begin commercially selling their chicken, not raised on a farm, but in a facility. The meat is grown using real animal cells and large bioreactors fed with nutrients. The company says cell-cultivated meat could help feed the world's booming population using a fraction of the land and water of animal farming and help reduce greenhouse gas emissions.
You know, I didn't have 3D printed meat on my bingo calendar, or bingo card. Wow. And you're saying it's been around for a while, Yeti? Where the fuck have I been? All right. Whew. Let me drink some chemicals. I choose to put these in my body, but fake meat? Nah. And these seed oils? No. My wife won't even buy seed oils anymore. She's like, we're running low. And by low, she means beef tallow. I'm telling you, everything tastes so much better. She got me fast food from some Chinese place, I think. And you can taste it. They also use the same type of oil. It's catching on. You know what else is catching on? Peace talks. Peace talks between Ukraine, Russia, and the United States. Yesterday, the President of the United States, as well as European Union members, had a phone call conference with each other. And this is what Donald Trump and Zelensky talked about.
Go ahead, please. In the back? Yeah, please.
Yes, Mr. President, how were your calls this morning with European leaders, and was it your call not to invite President Zelensky to your meeting with Putin?
No, just the opposite. No. We had a very good call. He was on the call. President Zelensky was on the call. I would rate it a 10, very, very friendly. I know the leaders because I was at NATO, as you know. I took it from 2% to 5%, 2% that wasn't paid, 5% that is paid, which is trillions of dollars in defense capability. No, it was always going to be I was going to meet with President Putin, and then after that I'm going to call the leaders and President Zelensky. I'm going to call President Zelensky, and then I'll call, probably in that order, the leaders. There's a very good chance that we're going to have a second meeting, which will be more productive than the first, because the first is I'm going to find out where we are and what we're doing. Again, this is Biden's war. This isn't my war. He got us into this thing, and it should have never happened. This war would have never happened if I were president. But it is what it is, and I'm here to fix it, and I'm here to stop 6,000, 7,000 people last week. 7,213 people last week were killed.
Holy shit.
Mostly soldiers. But missiles being
Russian
lobbed into
soldiers.
towns don't exactly help either. But mostly soldiers. and Ukrainian and Russian. They're not American soldiers, but if we can save a lot of lives, it would be a great thing. I've stopped 5 wars in the last 6 months. And on top of that, we wiped out the nuclear capability of Iran, obliterated it. It's turned out to be a correct word, by the way, because some of the press said, well, maybe it wasn't obliteration. It was obliteration.
Get back on top.
We're going to meet with, I would say, the second meeting. If the first one goes okay, we'll have a quick second one. I would like to do it almost immediately, and we'll have a quick second meeting between President Putin and President Zelensky and myself, if they'd like to have me there. And that would be a meeting where maybe it could be absolutely work. But the first meeting will not work that out. Certain great things can be gained in the first. It's going to be a very important meeting. But it's setting the table for the second meeting.
What's up,
the
Bill?
second meeting, if the second meeting takes place. Now, there may be no second meeting, because if I feel that it's not appropriate to have it because I didn't get the answers that we have to have, then we're not going to have a second meeting.
So one thing I've kept saying about Donald Trump is he is one of the foreign leaders that is not afraid to talk to Vladimir Putin. He is not afraid to talk to the European Union, NATO, and talk down to them. Stop acting like they're all high and mighty. No one has attempted to talk to Vladimir Putin from the European Union or the United States until Tucker Carlson. Which, fuck you, Tucker. But that's diplomacy. Of course he's going to call Zelensky and the European leaders so they can voice their opinions and he can write it down. So when he talks to Vladimir Putin in Alaska on Friday, he can say, look, this is what their concerns are. Let me hear yours. And how can we conclude this? And then he said he's going to talk to Zelensky. And then the European Union. And then try to set up a quick setting meeting between those two. Crazy, right? But, everybody just seems to not pay attention to that. Right? World War III is on the verge of ending. Donald Trump will go down as one of the greatest presidents of all time if he can get this deal completed, in my opinion. He may have a lot of ups and downs, but he will go down as the greatest president in my generation. He kind of already is. Because who do I have? Ronald Reagan. All right. Too young to remember that. George H.W. Bush. William J. Clinton. George W. Bush. Barack Obama. And Donald Trump. My generation. You don't like it? Great. Go back to your disgruntled whatever fucking channel. You know who you are. And it's funny. Because even when I post shit like this on Facebook, everybody wants to keep bringing up the same thing. Yes, Trump is on the list. The client list. Trump's in the files. We all know this. Did I forget Biden? Oh yeah. Oops. My bad. That guy was the president? I thought it was a conglomerate. Okay. I forgot Biden. Well, if you think about it, all presidents are technically a patsy. Now, we've heard the thought process between Europe, Ukraine, and this war. What does Vladimir Putin think about this meeting that's coming up? Oh, I don't know about worst because it depends on how you look at it.
Putin voicing.
Look, I'm fair and balanced. You see this shit, Communist News Network? Yeah.
praise for the Trump administration's efforts to forge peace in Ukraine.
To tell you about the stage we are at with the current American administration, which, as everyone knows, is making, in my opinion, quite energetic and sincere efforts to stop the hostilities, stop the crisis, and reach agreements that are of interest to all parties involved in this conflict in order to create long-term conditions for peace between our countries and in Europe and in the world as a whole. If by the next stages we reach agreements in the area of control over strategic offensive weapons.
Well, meantime, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is rallying European support, meeting today with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer in London. That coming amid a rush of diplomacy as European leaders present a united front heading into the Alaska summit.
You know what?
Zelensky says
If
they discussed
ever, and be like, hey, you want to go meet Vladimir Zelensky? It'd be a great honor. I'd be like, you know what? I'll do it. I'll meet Vladimir Zelensky. I'll even shake his hand. But I'm going in flip-flops, shorts, and a t-shirt. Hey, when in Rome, or when in Ukraine, do as the Ukrainian leader.
security guarantees in detail, a key issue in getting Ukraine to agree to a ceasefire. And a senior Putin aide today shared some details about the summit, which will be held at a US military base in Anchorage, Alaska. He says it will start at 11:30 a.m. local time, that's 3:30 p.m. in Washington, and 10:30 p.m. in Moscow. After one-on-one talks with the help of interpreters, he says the two presidents will hold a joint news conference. He also says both delegations will have 5 members with groups of experts nearby. Well, we are joined by Klaus Sebastian here in London and Nick Payton-Walsh, who's joining us live from Kyiv. So Nick, to you first, just in response to what we heard from Vladimir Putin then, can tell us what you can unwrap from those comments as we look ahead to the summit this Friday?
Yeah, it did appear that some of the worst fears, potentially, of European leaders and certainly Ukraine about what this summit may evolve into are potentially being realised, certainly in how Putin is framing this bilateral meeting. Talking about a strategic weapons treaty, he doesn't say the word nuclear, but most treaties refer to that kind of weapon.
That would be interesting.
Capable missiles, and really I think focusing the discussion on what Trump can get out of improving relationships with Russia. Can there be a US-Russian strategic deal in all of this? Playing on the, some might say, misconception within Trump's inner circle that somehow Russia, utterly dependent on China to bankroll its war, can somehow be prized away from Beijing and moved into the American orbit almost as an ally against China. That was a misconception that most, I think, felt had been laid to rest months ago after Trump got increasingly disappointed with Putin. But Putin does appear to think that this summit is much more about bilateral relations. Yes, he talked about the energy being put into trying to find a solution to the Ukraine conflict, which he started.
Bro! Yo! Alright. I don't know if a lot of you people notice. If you take a picture with a woman, right? Or if you're a man. Wait, if you're a man and there's a woman taking a picture with you, or if you're a woman and you're taking a picture with a man, you ever notice the woman, if they're facing the person they're taking the picture with, obviously there's some kind of sort of attraction. If they're facing forward and not, facing towards you, then it's like, yeah, look at Putin. Look at Putin standing there with Trump like he's his little bitch. Isn't that cute? Picture's worth 1,000 words.
But it is clear too also that, in those simple words that he may well be trying to throw at Trump in that meeting, something, not of a red herring. Obviously the world is interested in seeing a lesser threat of strategic weapons being used by either the United States or Russia. But that wasn't initially the point of this Alaska meeting. That was the war in Ukraine. And so while it's entirely impossible, frankly, to predict how this meeting will go, and Trump appears to, when he speaks to his European allies, emerge tough, talking about very serious consequences yesterday, apparently, according to the German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, saying he won't be negotiating away Ukraine's territory. That's for Ukraine to do. Merz also
Yes,
talked
between
about how
Ukraine and
serious
Russia.
decisions can be made at that meeting. So I think there's no doubt in the minds of Europeans what they want him to enter into that meeting thinking, or either that there could be some potentially unpleasant surprises between those two sides meeting without Europeans or Ukrainians in the room. And so Zelensky in Downing Street to again have another audience or feel amplified his concerns, for Europe to amplify their concerns again. It's all been pretty consistent, frankly. Ceasefire first, negotiations around the frozen front lines as they currently stand. No suggestion that either side would be happy to give up territory at all. It seems, to be honest, mostly far-fetched. But that has been translated to Trump. Quite whether it gets echoed in that meeting with Putin is really unclear. Trump's called it a listening exercise. It feels at this stage like he's ultimately going to see what Putin's willing to offer. If he likes it, he'll pursue it. And that somehow takes US agency out of these discussions.
Yeah.
What's up, Angela?
Nick, thank you. Turning to Claire Sebastian. Claire, as we look at those images of the Prime Minister meeting with Zelensky this morning, you were there actually outside 10 Downing.
All right, did you hear about this? A Democrat.
I just don't understand. This could possibly end the war. But it doesn't seem like the world wants this war to end. I don't know why. It's a drain on the world's economy. It's a drain on, hell, look, Russia. Putin's like, I'm fucking done with this shit, man. I'm done. And it's funny because the way this meeting came about, it was like, when it comes to Russia, the UAE, the Arab world, talked to Putin, and that ended up getting a meeting between Putin and Trump. And the Europeans are all meeting with Zelensky, but not a single one of them has wanted to meet with Russia. Does that make any sense? Or am I just fucking retarded? Combination of both, but I'm not retarded much.
Whistleblower has told the FBI that then Congressman Adam Schiff approved leaking classified information in order to discredit President Trump, and the White House is giving its first reaction.
The president has already said he wants to see Adam Schiff held accountable for the countless lies he told the American people in relation to the Russiagate scandal. I have a quote from the FBI director. For years, certain officials used their positions to selectively leak classified information to shape political narratives. It was all done with one purpose: to weaponize intelligence and law enforcement for political gain. Those abuses eroded public trust in our institutions. The FBI will now lead the charge with our partners at DOJ and Congress.
Iowa Congresswoman Marionette Miller-Meeks joins me now to react. Congresswoman, good morning to you.
Well, that's
if
a name
true,
I've never
how
seen
serious of an offense is this, and what can be done?
Well, it certainly is very serious, and Shifty Adam Schiff is justifying his name that he was given. Leaking classified information, as you know, is a serious offense, and it will be up to the Oversight Committee, Judiciary Committee, in order to handle this. But this is a very serious allegation. I've asked for Senator Schiff to resign. He should resign immediately.
Well, a Democrat staffer is the whistleblower. He was a Democrat staffer on the House Intel Committee for 12 years. And on top of claiming that Adam Schiff
the
approved
FBI 302
information, this person also said Ranking Member Schiff was particularly upset as he had believed he would have been appointed as the director of the CIA had candidate Hillary Clinton won the election. What do you make of those details?
Well, remember that we were upset with Adam Schiff being put on Intel and kept on Intel. We thought he should have left Intel, been off of Intel when this was suspected earlier before, when also suspected that he was lying about classified information. So this is a serious charge. He needs to be held accountable, but people need to call for his resignation. And I think members of Congress, at least on the Republican side, are asking for him to step down.
How will the investigation into this play out?
I think what you'll see is even though we are on our August work period in our districts,
Dude,
you'll
Schiff
start to
does,
see
man.
that judiciary and the oversight committee will start making, proposals that he be brought in to give testimony in front of the House to be a witness.
So this guy, Schiff, he was set to maybe be the director of the CIA if Hillary Clinton had won her presidential election, but obviously that didn't happen. This guy has been leaking classified information for, they said, since 2017, 2016. Yet FBI had a file on him, but nothing happened. Just got put to the side. So if it got put to the side, then how of a sudden did they find it? What else is the FBI hiding? Seems kind of odd. Like they can just pull something out when they need something. Hold on, let me find out where this video is from. Alright, I'm assuming none of us live in South Carolina, and none of us really vote Democrat, and this is probably a good reason why I wouldn't vote Democrat in South Carolina.
Bill be in my front desk when I wake up in the morning.
William,
You right into chef, Joe.
William, can I talk to you?
That's gonna give you some grace. But no slack. You ain't getting off your bitch. My guess is your crimes are against humanity. Hey, Terry Matthew, my flames gonna start to slow down a little bit. Man, you motherfuckers, man. So what happened was, in a lawsuit known as a class action, okay, which class is stupid, the class members, right, don't get the money. It's everybody at the top. Now I know why Ron Motley's no longer with us. And no, I don't think the devil, well, the man didn't take him out. Ron has so much pain in him. The last time I saw him before he died, his eyes were just yellow. Yellow.
Jaundice.
I know what that is, because I know what that bottle will do to you. That didn't make Ron Motley an unjust man. That made him one of the most just and pure people, humans, to ever walk this earth. He was just tormented inside. Ron, I'm not here to judge you, my friend. I love you.
Oh, so that's why you're naked?
I've spent the night in the drunk tank. I don't need to go back.
Something tells me he's going to be elected to Congress. Oh, he's asleep, thank God. Whew. It's it, right? What are you sniffing for?
So they don't let you talk. When you got a silver tongue like mine, they shut this plexiglass because they know that fire can't go through plexiglass. And it's hot as in here, by the way. I guarantee you that dumb motherfucking guy turned the heat up. They get uncomfortable, the sweat box. Well, guess what, boys? Y'all don't know what heat is. The heat's inside of me. This, whatever you do here, ain't gonna kill me. What's gonna kill me is if I don't get this fire out of my mouth. So somebody better come let me out right now. And take these shackles off these lily white hands for the world to see.
What's your name?
It doesn't matter, my friend. Trust me. I'm one of the most just humans to ever walk
Okay,
this
just
soil.
human. Tell me your name.
I'm just human.
Oh, just human.
Okay, well, we tried. We've all tried.
I tell you what, you got to give me a name. Give me Superman sounds good. I'm Superman. Dog.
Oh.
John Doe.
No, you know what? John Doe's fine.
Okay.
John Doe's fine. I don't give a.
You don't want them to know your name.
Off of me.
So
you call me whatever you want to. I don't care.
Okay.
Just get this off of me and get me out of this car. My name doesn't matter.
If you keep acting like this,
yeah,
the jail is just gonna put you in more.
I don't care.
And worse. Okay. Okay. Good luck to you, Mr. Doe.
Oh, Mr. Doe.
What do you put for the birthday?
Just do one 2000. You put like generic stuff, so you just don't have them.
Fucking politicians are a joke, man.
Alex,
Done?
I can't connect these dots yet, but
What dots?
if this is going where I think it could be heading, I think I just figured out that the President of the United States is my cousin.
Oh.
Okay, so trust me, at this point, nothing is crazier than you and me either being related or you being not guilty.
Oh, you're the
That's just the way
cousin.
my brain has been trained. Either you and me are related or you're not guilty. That's the only way to get from me in this ass police car that, oh, by the way, is owned by the finest city in America. Okay, so it's not the car.
He
It's
is.
the people with those guns and badges that make it corrupt. Because the cars that look just like
South
this,
Carolina
when they
Democratic
take the
candidate
people's
Mullins
$9 billion
McCloud.
door to door, Ben, door to door, and I know where some of that cash is. But I got to ask somebody that's extremely close to me, that name you do not know,
Donald Trump.
whether I have his permission to tell the world.
Oh.
That secret may remain buried, and that's fine with me, because I can take you out if I need to down the road real soon. Or in the morning I wake up and there will be a fair and just equitable. See, equitable remedy is the court where there's no jury.
Okay.
You follow me? So when it comes to dividing land, like disputes, you got one dude or one gal. But you know what? Watch this. There was a black man, Master-Necker in Richland County, who I can't remember if they took out or not. I just know there was a black man, last name Strickland, Richland County. He was a master in equity. I bet you somehow this road leads to him. Okay. But when people get to have to argue about the single most important thing, like where you have a place to sit your ass before you fall asleep, the people don't get to make that decision. I mean, you see, it was the system when the robber barons flipped the script became, guess what? Heads, the robber barons win, and tails, the people lose. Alan Wilson. I'm daring you right now, motherfucker. While you got all the teeth in your mouth, you better be in front of the people's house, which my cousin Dan McLeod used to have the wheel. You better be outside holding a press conference telling the world the heads, you win, and tails, you win. Conversation we had when had we done a coin toss, if you just said, Mullins, I tell you what, it's risky for me politically to do what you want me to do. I know you've proven to me chapter and verse. For God's sakes, I've sold a PowerPoint 4 times. You know who ushered me over there?
Who?
Because he trusted me so much to tell the story the precise way. Oh!
Bro.
Condon was his last name, first name Charlie. Now that is a just man.
Isn't he, Yeti?
Because he knew when he took me to what should have been the people's house, what I made so clear for the world to see, that guess what? You would do the people's justice, the people's work. That's not what you did, you dumb slack piece of
Who the fuck are you talking to now?
carry that German Shepherd around the people's house. Like, is it even your dog?
No, I think he's fucking enamored.
When I'm governor, Snoopy's coming with me. He's not some German Shepherd. And let me tell you, my father, Snoopy is more of a friend to me than you were to the people of South Carolina.
Snoopy?
When you paraded that German Shepherd in front of me to drop this breadcrumb trail in this brilliant mind that somehow you were a dog guy protecting the people. Oh, do you think I'm stupid?
Yeah, I do.
I'm doing this job, folks. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm going to kick your teeth in. That's me. Because that's the work. But you know what? All my brothers in Compton got my back with Joe Rice, my 6, while I kick your teeth in. And then you're going to hear the softest voice
What the hell is this
and
guy
one of those
talking
voices is
about?
going to be Rosa. You know what Rosa's going to do? She's going to say, hey, Alan Wilson, who is your biological father? Would you please share that with the world? With the world.
This is a promo.
Hey, Nancy, right now, because I only promised that I would not do this once I started this campaign.
Who the fuck is he talking
I
to?
can't do this once I start a campaign. You better tell the world right now that what you did in the wall of the Congress was the greatest sin ever committed in the history of this nation.
Right.
Where you went and blew Lee Atwater's dog whistle in President Donald Trump's house, and you thought the system was so corrupt, the president himself would not be able to take you out. You better hope you're not anywhere in Washington, D.C. or Manhattan, wherever President Donald Trump is, because I'm telling you, my friend, he would kick your teeth in. He don't give a what your gender is. So let's go back to the teeth thing. I'm going to kick every one of them in, all right? And when I'm through kicking them in, you know, I don't know any dentist. Find me a dentist.
Huh?
Then they're going to put all your teeth, before you swallow
His ear looks really fucked up.
coward, back in your teeth. Now, this is
I
the way
know,
we're
it's
going to do
just
this.
a big ear.
You don't get Novocaine, you dipshit. And if the holes for your teeth, if they not properly sized to the teeth, you don't get new teeth, you dumb. You got to put your own work in right here. So my friend Bo Blessing, who's been fucking beating his brains out, trying to bring quality healthcare to a city that frowned on him, when he dared to be in a city when some people didn't think he belonged. Wake up, world! Bo Blessing is one of the finest surgeons this earth has ever seen. You don't know that because he and I went to Woodbury together. I know who he is and I've never seen. Because Bo Blessing and I, we talk belly button to belly button when I talking.
Jesus Christ.
So, Bo, please bring the scalpel for Alan to carve out his gums
Give this
himself
motherfucker some water.
before Rosa puts those teeth back in his mouth. Because we're not done yet, okay? Because you know what comes next? My friend Bakari, he gets to kick him in again.
Jesus Christ.
The only reason I didn't let
What's up, clown?
Bakari do the people's work kicking him in, because I like the little heavy lifting, you motherfucker. You think this bothers me? Sweating like a dog.
Dude, you're in your
This
underwear.
don't bother me. You know why? Because I know now exactly what Aaron McKee went through. So, hey, corrupt Joe Anderson. That's right, motherfucker. I just pinned it down on your donkey.
Where'd you come from?
I just poked all the devil in the world right in the nose.
Where'd you come from?
I'm going to truck your You better be writing 2 orders right now. The first one is Aaron McKee.
Where's that
What
at?
the
The second one is Vicky Bennett.
I don't know where that is.
And the only reason, if you get Vicky off the hook, I might give Jay some
alcohol
grace.
makes people
But
stupid.
if you don't, Jay Richardson, I'm coming for you, motherfucker. And I'm going to get your teeth in too.
Is he crying?
So, Bakari, my friend, I want you to get a second round of kicking those teeth in because your father should have never had to dare
Yo, that is some
in our
Steiner
state
shit.
to do the people's work. I'm going to do that work for you because my name is Joe Sixpack, motherfucker.
Joe Sixpack.
So you, my friend Bakari, can do the easy work. And look, I tell you what, Bakari, it's not my place. I want to kick his teeth in, all right? And I'm going to kick them in. The world can decide what happens next to my friend Alan Wilson, the people's lawyer. And Alan, you dumb I know you're not good. You never heard of a broken mailbox. You don't know what flipping the scrap is because you're too stupid to read. You know
Pull
what
out the whole locker room.
I didn't start reading till the day I had, guess what? My law license. Because everything that happened in my life, other than being in my grandfather's house, that my entire hometown thought was the White House. Yes, because of the way it looked. Yes, they have Line Street. It's Oak Avenue to my grandfather's house.
What
Matthew, I know you've been having to Google and tell, oh, he's so slick. We can show the world. He's one of these Ivy
just
white
pass out
boys
already.
that couldn't cut it. And because he couldn't cut it, we gonna cut his ass. John Morland, you know where I'm going, you dumb. You better be calling my sister right now, and you don't call right now. I'm gonna kill you. Myself, you hear me? I'm gonna kill you myself.
Oh. And this guy was released on bond, by the way. Oh, thank God.
All right, world. I told you what to do with Alan Wilson, the people's attorney general.
The cop name on the brakes.
If you have committed a single transgression, a single one. Now, I know the way that you take a mountain of debt, burden off of people, and turn that into your profit. I don't have to explain that. I want you to explain it in my language. You hear me? I think you've heard enough to know my language. And if you can't do that, you better get somebody like Barack Obama, the smoothest tongue this planet has ever seen as far as I know. And he will type it for you. Hey, Barack, tell Ben, excuse me.
Where did Barack Obama come
that
from?
Looks like when you take literally the weight of the world, that's what debt is. The weight of the world is not responsibility of robber barons. The weight of the world is what it looks like to be President Donald Trump.
Okay.
When he's my age, trying to affect no change. Yes, he wants to make money. Newsflash, motherfucker. You know I got newsflash. He ain't as rich as you think. You know I know that because rich people buy shit so nobody else can. They don't have to share with anybody.
I don't know if that's the truth.
Okay? Or he's the most just man in this world other than God. Because you see, I know Mar-a-Lago. I've driven by it. I don't know how many times with my friend Harry.
Harry.
Who I can promise you God is my witness right now. Every dollar Harry Jones has put in his back pocket was earned, my brothers.
Listen, I have no control whatever names this guy's saying, so if he's doxing people, well, this is on the news.
Nobody. And Harry, please tell the world how you knew for the first time that I was a class act, and then tell the world the first time your father told you that I was maybe the class's act.
I forgot to mute my guys. I'm sorry.
Ever grace to dare ask people to go to the ballot box to vote for him, because that's a mistake I made. Step one, motherfucker.
Motherfucker.
All right. The first time I did this, I dared was 2010, and I got my act in a hurry. And I don't even know all those dots. But I know the first thing they should have told me this is wrong is the word laser beam, Elon. Tell the world
Elon.
why laser beam was first in the first printed, already from my hands and eyes, version of the McLeod for governor. And you know what that is? The people's house. Well, who the is he, He ain't even 40 years old. Well, you know the first time somebody planted in my brain that my dreams can actually happen.
It's a damn shame this dude's Scottish.
It's also Joe. But it ain't Crooked Joe the Judge. It's Joe Irwin. Not everybody get the...
Dang.
Let my guest weigh in.
God. Holy fuck. Now I kind of want to see body cam footage of people like him getting arrested. Because they caught him running around in his underwear. No shirt. But it's okay. It's okay. He knows Donald Trump and Barack Obama. And these are the people that run our country, run our states, run our cities. Amazing, right?
David Gerke was the attorney for the late Mary Kay Letourneau, who was also a teacher who had sex and went on to marry and have children with a student of hers named Vili Falau, a student who was just 11 when she met him. David, good to have you on the show again. Every
He has
time I
big
tell one
nose.
of these
Probably
stories, I think
Polish.
about Mary Kay Letourneau's case because it was kind of the first one out there that blew our minds. But then you hear this woman who says, oh, the 11-year-old came on to me first. How do you think that's going to go over with the judge at sentencing time?
It does not go over at all. To me, it reflects a social misadjustment of some sort. She's immature. It's like a grade school kid talking about another grade school kid. And unfortunately, just because you reach the magic age of 18 or 21, you're still emotionally very immature to think
Yeah, they
that this
said the brain is not
11-year-old
fully developed until you're 25 years old, which is why pediatricians, they can treat up to 25-year-old patients. How do I know? One of my doctors that worked for us in Iraq was a pediatrician.
coming on to you.
Yeah.
That does not make sense.
Yeah, she's 32, right? So, I mean, the 32-year-old thinking an 11-year-old is coming on to you. I mean, it's one thing to say it to the detectives when you're being interrogated, and then you start to, everything gets real. Do you think that she can reverse course, fall on the sword, apologize profusely, and maybe get the good graces of the judge to, I don't know, it's capped at 40, but you can go all the way up to 40 years on this one?
Well, the judge is not going to give her that much because she doesn't have any violence in her past, no other criminal activity in her past. And I think the range is 6 to 40. And the prosecutor said as long as it's under 40, you cannot appeal. And she agreed with that. I'm thinking 10 to 15 years at the most. And then the other issue is that no one has mentioned yet is what has the effect been on the young man or the young boy? And if this was a young girl,
Yo, that's
everybody
a
would
really
be
good
telling.
question. He was 11. And I think they said they got married and had kids. Yeah, how does that affect that kid?
In her own, no, you're ruined for life. How horrible, how horrific. And they hear that and they think, I'm supposed to feel this way, and they do. And that deserves a much heavier penalty than all the guys coming up, hey, way to go, buddy. God, you banged the teacher. Wait, that's great.
Yeah, he's 11, come on. He's 11, for heaven's sake. I do want to finish with this question, though, David. Honestly, I think during Mary Kay's case, it was really crazy, 7 years, and she's having babies with Billy. But do you think that the law has caught up with women and is treating them the same way it treats male teachers who do this or men who prey upon younger girls? Do you think the law is catching up and treating them the same way that men are being treated?
Oh, since I got this. So, this link is a catch from Jadion that he did in Indianapolis, Indiana. During this catch, a guy that coaches volleyball at a children's academy, a volleyball academy, sent multiple pictures of his asshole, balls, dildos, to what he thought was a 15-year-old boy. To when the police department came, they seemed uninterested and did not want to take any evidence until the very, very, very end. And the DA. The DA is like, yeah, we're not going to touch this shit. So just check that video out. Check it out. I was going to play it, but I don't know. I want to get copyrighted. Just watch it. Give it a look.
It is. I think that's part of the cry for equal justice, and you can't have equal justice if you have a beautiful smile at your booking picture. Like, well, look, she's cute. We won't punish her as much. It's got to be the same. It's either that or maybe it's global warming. Have you ever thought of that? We'll hear that probably pretty soon. Wait a minute, but no, it's you've got to treat them the same. And the 6 years or 3 years that the smiley face got, that was a gift. And to give,
I'll say.
And I was going to say 40 years for this other one. I'm not sure that's a gift at all, but it's a.
Well, we'll be watching it.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe.
Now that I'm older and wiser, I would be curious to know now how many teachers I had in my schools that were pedophiles. I know for a fact one of my high school wrestling coaches was a pedophile. How do I know? Shortly after I graduated, it came out in the local Jacksonville newspaper that he was caught in a hotel room down the street from the junior senior high with a minor. A minor. Coach Slaughter, you fucking pedophile piece of shit. Pretty sure you're dead now because this was 20 plus years ago. But fuck you, dude. Alright, so speaking of bingo cards, another thing that I didn't have on my 2025 bingo cards is zombie rabbits. Zombie rabbits. This shit's like something out of Gravity Falls.
What's up, guys? Spenny. The deep state is always coming up with new creative ways to try and psyop you and control your life and destroy President Trump, like alien invasion hoaxes, real criminal alien human invasions of our countries. That's definitely happening. Nuclear war, assassination attempts, all of it's on the table, but all of it has failed. What are they going to come up with next? Tentacle-faced Frankenstein rabbits? Yes. Yes, that is exactly what they've come up with. Frankenstein rabbits are on deck. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare for your new virus straight out of a lab in Wuhan. Man, listen, man, this is a little scarier than COVID, quite honestly.
Like, oh, fuck, South Park
episode. See this in the wild. What the hell is this?
Gene splicing.
It's a Frankenstein rabbit, tentacles sprouting out of its head, and it's invaded mass swaths of the United States. Don't touch them. What the hell is this? Look at this.
What happens if you touch them? Is it like venom?
What? Real? Yeah. It's apparently real.
These are leeches?
Giant tentacles coming out of their faces. Frickin' gross. Weird, man. Okay, so this is really happening. What the hell is this exactly? And is it going to spread? You know, this looks a lot like the fungus.
What if Man Bear Pig actually started out as a fucking rabbit?
Last of Us. And let's read. Bizarre virus is turning ordinary rabbits in the United States into grotesque horned creatures with black tentacle growths sprouting from their faces. It's on the rise. They're mutated rabbits. They've been spotted all over Fort Collins, Colorado, for instance.
Uh-oh.
Reports date back to 2024, when a resident posted a photo showing a creature with a head with spiked black protrusions. A resident says that she recently spotted a rabbit with black spines or quills all around its mouth. They thought that he'd die off during the winter, but he didn't. He came back a second year, and his black tentacles have grown. The rabbits are infected with the cottontail papilloma.
Cottontail,
virus.
come on.
This is also known as Shope papilloma virus, which causes tumors to grow near an animal's head. Colorado Wildlife has urged anybody who sees the infected rabbits, do not touch them. Stay away.
Do you want us to kill them?
They don't think that the virus can leap over to humans, but
kill it and burn
let's not give it any help. Let's not try, please. I'm begging you. I've seen this one before. Hey, I've seen this one before. Yeah. We all lived through COVID, right? These Frankenstein rabbits have mainly been seen in Colorado. Researchers noted that the cottontail rabbits throughout the Midwest may become infected with the rare virus. The virus spreads mainly via mosquitoes and ticks, which bite the infected animal and pass the DNA-altering condition. Scientists noted that this rarely spreads through direct contact with the rabbits.
So
it has to be spread through a blood bite. The first sign the rabbits have the virus is red, raised spots on their skin that turn into wart-like black tumors. In some cases, these warts develop into papillomas or horns and tentacles growing out of their faces.
Umbrella
However, some of the
Corporation
boars can turn
started with
into
a rabbit.
cell carcinoma, a serious skin cancer that's also deadly if it spreads. Unless treated early, the pet owners, fearing the rabbits could contact the virus, medical experts said the best way to prevent it, keep the rabbits away from pests and mosquitoes. If an insect bite does infect a rabbit with the virus, veterinarians can surgically remove the tumors before they become malignant and look like this. Goodness gracious. Occasionally, the growths heal on their own. Locals say the rabbits in the area tend to develop bigger and bigger horns. The tumors can eventually become large enough to interfere with the rabbit's ability to eat, causing them to die of starvation. Tumors develop around the ears and eyelids and other parts of the head, making it hard to hear. Should we euthanize the rabbits? Nobody knows. This is, of course, all of the news right now. Yes, it is crazy. Here they are. These are the freak rabbits. And they're getting
There it is,
infected.
2025 zombie rabbits. Gotta love them. Oh, I didn't realize I had put 2 Benny segments back to back, so we're just going to skip the next one. And we're going to angry black women. Angry black women. This black woman cannot donate plasma, and she's upset. Why can't she donate plasma? She's been living in a motel for 1.5 years.
I go, bro, you have this record. I am tired, bro. That's it. I'm tired. I'm tired, bro. I just tried to go donate plasma, but because I just found out I'm homeless because I've been living in a motel for the past 1.5 years. But because I can't donate. So even the
I just found out I was homeless because I've been living in a motel for the 1.5 years. It looks like you've been in that motel for quite a while. You sure that's a motel?
$100 that you give me for the thousands of dollars that you get from the byproduct of my body, I can't even have that. Ah! Fuck! Shit! Oh my God, bro! Oh my God! I get sick for a few weeks and that sets back my whole life. I can't afford to be sick. I don't deserve to be sick. And what you telling me is I don't deserve to eat, bro.
Huh?
Ah! Oh my God.
Get her, Anton.
And like what life is telling me is all I gotta do is be a little bit more evil, bro. Every opportunity that I had that I've lost, bro, is because I couldn't slice somebody. Every opportunity, bro. That is so crazy. Either that or me being sick, and that is so wild. What you telling me is this world is not for me, bro.
So, all right, let's level set here, right? Because it's really weird to watch somebody set up their camera so that they can crash out for you
Right?
guys on the internet. Now, I'm no expert when it comes to crashing out on the internet and setting up my camera so that people can see me raging and screaming and complaining about the system. But I always like to know the background information, and I'm always curious as to how people got to the space that they in the first place, to where they then at some point decide that they want to set up their camera and show people that they are in crash out mode. Now, I never put anything past anybody, so I'm always going to send up a prayer for somebody and they in crash out mode, because everything passes, things get better, and then you wind up getting yourself together and you get the opportunity that you need if you're able to endure long enough to actually get the opportunity itself. But one thing that I have noticed on these applications is that the crash outs from women are insane. For whatever reason, we was not getting all of these crash outs previously, but when women said that they didn't need men and that they can survive without men and that men wasn't needed in this culture and society, now we see an insane amount of women that are crashing out, and it's wild. It's actually pretty concerning because we already knew. It was no secret amongst men that women were not prepared to be out here trying to survive on their own. We knew it. We tried to tell y'all that this world was not built for y'all to be able to live alone, no matter how much we civilize it, no matter how much technology has advanced. And now it's not just black women, it's not just white women, it's women across the board that are in
Amen.
crash out mode and complaining that they don't like the system that they helped create, that we've evolved and made sure that we.
It's funny listening to people crash out when
This is great.
there's been a lot of crash outs lately by similar people. It's weird. Weird. All right. No. All right. So that's going to be in for it today because Alex has updates coming up in 15 minutes. And, yeah. No.
Hey, Andrew, so guy calls me. He says, Pat, I'm being offered to be part of CIA to give intel, okay? He's in a niche industry that a lot of people have access to him, and he meets a lot of people. Think money, finance, you're in front of a lot of different interesting people. Why is that appealing to somebody like him to say, yes, I want to do this job versus what is the risk for him to say, never, ever work with the CIA, even if they're trying to use you for a project like that?
U.S. citizen, right?
U.S. citizen.
So this is, it's such a hard question because even when we're at CIA and we're briefed on these operations, it's really hard to understand why the fuck somebody would say yes. It's so nonsensical to say yes to be an American citizen that works for the CIA, that supports as an asset the CIA, because the bureaucracy is horrible when you're a badged officer of CIA, a blue badged officer. It's even worse when you're a U.S. citizen that's encrypted, that's under layers of confidentiality and compartmentalization. But people say yes, and there's two big reasons why people say yes. One, they truly believe in helping America. Like legit, real blue blood, red blood Americans. And they do it a lot, Pat. It's fucking amazing. Because if CIA were to call me, the only reason I would say yes is because I worked for them in the past. But if I was a $100 million business owner and CIA said they want to meet a report, I'd be like, no. How are you guys going to keep my information safe? How are you going to keep my business safe? I've spent my whole life building this thing for you guys to piss away in one bad phone call. But they say yes. They say yes, and then oftentimes what ends up happening is the average lifespan for a CIA asset is about 5 years.
Oh.
We say that's their useful reporting life, not their physical life. Because within 5 years, CIA fucks up somehow. They leak their information, they don't brief the right office, and then an internal investigation takes suit, and some FBI person barges through your office door and arrests you on suspicion of working with Russians. And then it's not until you get into an interrogation room where you're like, I'm only talking to the Russians because CIA's paying me to talk to the Russians. And then that whole fucking debacle blows up, and it's a mess. It's a mess because government compartmentalizes so heavily. The second reason why people do it is because they believe CIA is going to help them somehow. Help them close a deal, help them get intel, help them get something on their computer.
That's the last thing you would think about. If
And
you're going to do it,
they're never going to do it.
Okay, so but let's go with that.
I
Where
wanted
am I
to be
going
a
with
spy
it?
in
So you
CIA
think
when I was growing
about stories like an Epstein, okay? So, when I say intel, of course, I think CIA. But you have Mossad, you have MI6, you talk highly of India, I think, with India's intelligence. I've never heard about India. So you're starting to really speak, well, you're bringing some attention to it. But if a person like an Epstein, okay, where you hear stories about this guy on what things he's been involved with, you go back history at this point, people know that him and Bill Barr went to a school together. I don't know if you knew this or not. They went to school together many, many years ago as kids. And then one of the people from that school is who later on came back and brought Jeffrey Epstein to be a math teacher, even though he didn't have the degree for it, and he kind of grows up to be who he is today. But the story with how he made his money, how he got his connection, his tie to Robert Maxwell, Robert Maxwell's tie back to Mossad, Ghislaine Maxwell, who was trained by her father, and Robert Maxwell being a big media mogul person. Does a person like Epstein leverage his intel relationship with Mossad to get things from either Mossad or the individuals as a form of a threat and a leverage that's different than a CIA coming to somebody in America saying we'd like to be an asset to help us out getting information. How different is an Epstein versus what happens here?
In methodology, it's not that different. And it's not that different. You have an intelligence agency that knows there's a source of information from an individual, and then they just need to find what they can use to reciprocate that cooperation from the targeted individual. So the methodology is not that different. I would, and I still do, openly say the most likely intelligence connection that Jeffrey Epstein had was with Mossad. Most likely. If he was an intelligence asset, it was probably for Mossad, not for CIA. He's too much of a high risk for CIA. And what he would have wanted is something Mossad would have been able to supply him with, where the CIA couldn't. Whether that's sex trafficking or something else, Mossad is way more flexible in what they're willing to bring to the table in terms of an intelligence operation, other than CIA.
So tell me more when you use the word flexible.
So Mossad assassinates, openly assassinates.
Right.
CIA does not openly assassinate. Israel and Mossad openly advocate for regime change. CIA does not do that. And then the permissions, the authorities that kind of, for a lack of a better word, handcuff CIA, those authorities don't really exist for Mossad. Mossad is essentially the modern day version of the 1960s era CIA. Very experimental, very flexible, very little oversight, because they're surrounded by an ocean of threats. Whereas, the United States is surrounded by literal ocean, and Canada and Mexico. So we have different threat profiles, and the difference in that threat profile is what informs our willingness to take high-risk actions.
So it's interesting when you say, so are you saying back in the 60s, we were as reckless and aggressive in getting intel as the current Mossad is?
And we were as reckless without being as well-trained, well-funded, or well-technologically equipped.
Give me an example of how reckless we were.
MX Ultra.
Okay.
Operation Midnight Climax. I mean, we were actively drugging Americans.
Yeah.
And then putting them in brothels with American prostitutes to test mind control agents. That's some reckless shit. Trying to get Castro's beard to fall off his face, the whole Bay of Pigs. I mean, that's the kind of shit that CIA still can't get off its back because it was so dumb, reckless, and ill-informed.
Do you think that gives a country an edge if they're willing to be more reckless than you in gathering intel and you're trying to be more proper than them?
Just imagine.
Well, imagine the U.S. was reckless, but now they learn from their mistakes and cover their asses. So what if we're just as bad, if not more, than these other countries' intel agencies?
The intel world, and put it on the fucking school playground, right? Which bully is likely to not get muscled around? The one that will go crazy when you approach him, or the one who's trying to play by the rules?
No question about it. The
no
reckless
question.
one, yeah.
And that's exactly why it works.
Who knows this?
All of the Five Eyes being the 5 Western intelligence agencies that cooperate the closest, Canada, America, UK, Australia, New Zealand, all of the Five Eyes know Mossad is the most risk-tolerant and most aggressive of intelligence agencies. And then we also know that because of that recklessness, there's only so much we can do to reel them in. They're so reckless, Pat, they collect on us.
Yeah, we know
Mossad
this.
actively tries to penetrate CIA, actively tries to penetrate
I wouldn't be surprised with that.
MI6, ASIS, yeah.
Yeah, when John was here, John Kirakou said every time they would come around to us, he says, we never trusted Mossad because they would come in, they would give gifts, and we're like, what are you doing giving us gifts? We don't need gifts. You're going to put some record. We'd find it. We're like, what are you doing? I can tell you want to hear my conversation. What experiences did you have with the Mossad yourself?
So I was lucky to only have a few experiences because the types of operations I worked on were more sensitive than they were willing to expose to Mossad. In my senior years, in my years as a middle manager, if you will, that's when I had the most overlap with joint operations with Mossad. Always super professional, always very smart, always quiet in the room, always impeccably dressed, and always shockingly good looking, especially if they were cooperating in an operation with the U.S. because they know our MO. They know that a beautiful man or a beautiful woman is going to distract us from better judgment. And that's one of the things that we're briefed on before we operate with Mossad. We're like, hey, just expect a bombshell to walk in and expect that they put that bombshell there for a reason.
It's basic principles.
Basic principles. And that's how they work. That's why they're so good, because they can literally leverage what we call primal instincts. primal instincts in human beings, they surpass your religious beliefs, they surpass your education level, your age, these primal incentives that they know how to kind of set the dominoes up in place to maximize your cooperation. Unless you come in defensive.
So let's go back to it. So let's talk about the recklessness you're saying of Mossad, that they're willing to go to level.
What if Epstein was trafficking kids to Israel as well to train them as Mossad agents from a young age? Pretty similar to a fucking movie that I can't remember right now. I can see the name, but I can't see it, and I can see the actress. Oh, fuck me. Give me a second.
That, U.S. is not willing to go. We used to back in the 60s, no longer. What event prevented us from being as reckless? Is it because somebody came in and they're like, well, moving forward, the CIA is going to be a very responsible intel agency, and we're going to tell everything
Red
to
Sparrow.
America? Or, no, after the 60s, you got Martin Luther King, you got John F. Kennedy, you got Bobby Kennedy, you got all this stuff that happened. Their reputation dropped. Let's find a way to fix this. What was the reasoning why we went more safer than being reckless?
September 11th, 2001.
So not even 60. So you coming straight to 01.
01. When CIA and FBI failed to collaborate effectively to prevent 9/11, when that happened, the Congress stepped in and created heavy oversight for both intelligence agencies. The 9/11 Commission that was completed in 2003 basically outlined how the intelligence agencies were forced to cooperate, forced to grow, how their budget and their operations were going to be strictly pursued and overseen by a group in the Congress, and how everything would have to get briefed up through the executive branch. That transformed CIA.
So they finally had oversight. So prior to that, what was oversight?
The president controls CIA. That's
always. It's always been the case.
That's the executive branch.
But what else? Did they have another dotted line to somebody else after 01?
They had a slight, after 01, they had dotted lines to multiple people. So they were still under the executive branch, but they had a hard line to the DNI. And the DNI had a hard line to the CIA, to the executive, the president. So now you have one layer of management in between the two. But then you also have this dotted line to the Congress, who controls the purse strings. So prior to that, CIA was controlled exclusively by a black budget. They spend what they want to spend when they want to spend it. Well, now their budget's tied to Congress, black or not.
Do you like that? Do you think there needs to be a department that nobody knows about, especially when we're dealing with the types of actors in the world today, that if they're going to have no rules and they're going to be reckless, we're going to play by the rules. We're going to get our asses handed to us.
And that's my concern, man. I look at this situation, and it's kind of fucked both ways. If you take away oversight to CIA, you run the risk of a politicized, weaponized CIA doing whatever the hell it wants to do. And that goes for anybody else. That goes for...
I think they already do that.
Care, right? But if you give increasing permissions and oversight to CIA to be more activist, more risk tolerant, then you kind of invite more pain, more public damage, more loss of reputation in the international space. So it's a hard place to be right now, but you're asking the right questions. We, the American people, should be asking these questions. Right now, we're outsourcing these questions to whoever sits in Congress.
Yeah, I don't trust that. So the recklessness, you said after 60s. So are you saying, were we still reckless in the 90s?
We were still without supervision in the 90s, which is a big part of why you started to see, like the Hutus and Tutsis took over.
So the 9/11 event that took place, whether we were more reckless or not, that couldn't have been prevented, is what you're saying.
100% could have been prevented.
If what?
If there would have been, this is the argument in the 9/11 Commission, if CIA and FBI would have been forced to work together, 9/11 would have been avoided. And they say that because when in retrospect, they collected all of the intelligence in both agencies and looked at it from 2001 to 2003, they saw that the fulsome profile of both intelligence collection efforts would have prevented the time, the place, and the personas involved.
Oh.
But because FBI was sending messages to CIA, CIA was ignoring them. CIA was sending messages to FBI, FBI was ignoring them. They're using two different systems. They're speaking in different languages. They have different encryptions for the same sources. All of this chaos resulted in in the most important stuff just sitting in the printer.
Did we communicate better in the 50s and 60s, CIA and FBI, versus in the 90s?
No, but they had a greater chasm between responsibilities. So inside United States, FBI; outside United States, CIA.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
Law enforcement, FBI; foreign intelligence, CIA; sabotage, CIA; drug research, drug investigation, CIA. It started to get kind of conflagrated, I think the word is, confused in the 90s and into the early 2000s.
Yeah, so this I don't know. Okay, the level of recklessness of Israel till today, who holds them accountable?
Nobody.
What is their level of recklessness they can go to where a commission comes in and say, tribunal, hey, listen, time out. What are we doing here? Is there anybody that holds all the intel agencies worldwide accountable, or there's really?
That was what they hoped would come about from the UN, that there would be some kind of global organization that we would all voluntarily submit ourselves to, and then we would follow that rule. It was actually Clinton who refused to let the United States fall under the jurisdiction of the UN's court, the criminal court. So after he set that precedent, Israel followed, China followed, Russia followed, and that's why we find ourselves where we are now, where basically anything goes if you're a strong enough, brave enough leader.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I wouldn't want to be under UN because I don't even trust UN. UN's going to be having favorites. So no matter what it is, bias is there no matter who you are. To believe that a person's going to be 100%. Walter Cronkite was the most unbiased. Stop it. He was a liberal. He still had his own bias, right? All of us have it. So it's the sooner I know what your biases are and what mine are, the sooner I'm like, yeah, I totally get it. We were talking about, 3 years ago about you coming here doing something. You remember that conversation we had? My biggest thing was you had a timeline. And then, okay, we do the show, we grow it, it gets millions of subscribers, and then somebody else.
Well, there you have it. There you have it. Hope y'all enjoyed some of the stuff we talked about today. Obviously, those veteran charity organization scams. Putin, Ukraine, how this war could possibly end, but it seems like the European members of the world, they don't seem to want it to happen. They want Ukraine to keep fighting like the little engine that could. Adam Schiff, he exposed classified information over and over and over and over, and yet nothing's going to happen. Right? Or is it? Probably not. Zombie rabbits. We didn't talk about aliens. We didn't talk about... Nah. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed your daily visit with the best looking member in the entire community. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But I'm not telling you how to think, because then if I told you how to think, you would believe exactly what I just said. But you don't have to believe it, because it's true. But I do want you to think. Right? I do want you to think, because if you don't think for yourself, then what are you really doing? What are you doing with your life? You want to be sheep? You want to be led? I don't know. Life differences. Where am I going with this? I'm going to keep talking. I was going to say something, but I can't remember what it was anymore. Up with hope, down with... No, I wouldn't say that.